Who the hell are you?
I'm Kev from Empty Lungs.
What about you? Who the hell are you?
I'm Sam from MC Lungs.
What about you?
What about yourself?
Me?
Ah.
I am Tony Wright, otherwise known as VerseChorusVerse.
Oh boy.
Because I'm a pretentious wee prick.
I see. And we're going to try interviewing each other for AU magazine online, I think. That's what we're going to do.
Well, indeed.
Like
It's going to be it's interesting because none of us are professionals here. Professional musicians. So when it comes to the art of interviewing, this is something very new for us.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Not a journalist among us.
My middle name is Parkinson. What an old guy, just proved my age. What an old reference.
So, what about formalities then of asking questions?
Yeah.
It's just...
We just roll, I guess.
Aye.
Do you want to go first or should I go first?
You go first.
Okay, well, Sam. What's your starting point when it comes to writing a song, when it comes to getting down to the nitty-gritty business of tune making?
Riffs. Sheer, brazen riffs. Music first, mostly.
Yeah. Lots of hours spent in the bedroom in your underpants, guitar.
Singing we like guitar hooks into your phone and recording them, and then going and making a song out of it.
It's interesting that you kind of like came into it so much. Like, was it when you started writing songs, didn't have that kind of aspect of like, you know, of like having the mobile recording device or whatever. Like, but I don't like. I definitely treat my phone as something more, something to record with than actually a communication device.
Yeah,
big time. And then lyrics after usually. The all time typing again with the phones, typing lyrics in the phones, just writing fucking ideas down and scrapbooks and stuff like that.
I generally get a lot of ideas for lyrics before, and then think I'll write that down, and never get to write it down. So I've let some of the best lyrics in the world just slip through my fingers because I never bothered to write them down. like literally, I think words that could have changed the course of humanity.
Maybe it changed them for the worse. Like,
you never know.
So it could be a good thing.
Hindsight, yeah.
What about you then? Songs fucking just spill out?
Yeah, it depends. It's kind of different each time. Sometimes it'll be, like, I'll always be writing lyrics and things, like, always have done since I was a kid. And then other times I just have like little riffs or little like progressions in mind, and just kind of sometimes like you have kind of a eureka moment, like you'll be like walking down the street and you just go, oh, that'll work perfectly, just like phrasing those lyrics will work perfectly, or that little lick will work perfectly with that riff, something. Just kind of, but it's generally different every time. I don't really have a kind of set formula.
You definitely got to let it flow, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It has to be natural, doesn't it? You write huge volumes of songs, didn't you? Remember you saying before you had, for the album, you had like humongous amount of songs.
I had like 45 songs, 45, 50 songs, whatever, and whittled it down to 10. Some of those songs like were, a little bit older, and then a lot of them, like whenever I kind of left So I'll Watch You, it was I had a big creative burst because it was such a traumatic time for me, because it was such a life-changing kind of time. So I kind of always find those traumatic times are good times to write songs, even that's probably why there is so many fucking love songs or whatever in the world. It was like, oh shit, it's girls with another guy or something like that, guys with another guy or fucking, whatever.
So would you definitely see like songwriting as a way of getting things out? Like spelling like the demons. If you want.
And then sometimes like you kind of twist it around because sometimes you observe something as well, like you see a little altercation between a couple of people, and then that can just inspire like a kind of little flurry of activity in there to kind of nail it down. What's do you guys remember the first song you ever wrote?
Sterling question for a non-pro journalist. First song I ever wrote. It was probably some awful, crappy, like acoustic punk rock song about a girl I fancied when I was 14 or something. I actually can't remember the specific song, Good to you.
Well, I can remember it exactly because the way I got into playing in bands was there was people in my school that was a guitarist and a drummer, but there's no bass players, and the guitarist and the drummer were best mates, and so they convinced me that for my 30th birthday I should buy a bass guitar and have it bought for me, which I did. And
You're good friends to have.
Yeah, that's the best thing they ever did for me, really. But yeah, we formed a band called Little Rubber Man.
Do you remember the specific first one?
I remember the first one I wrote, and it was called Don't Move. It was a really good basis for writing a song. Stay perfectly still. Don't move.
Don't do anything.
Don't show any emotion. Just fucking nothing. But it was awful. It was terrible. My friend Tiernan, like he will still bring it up to this day and slag me off about it. It was just like DG, you know, like it was real basic. But then it's kind of like, I suppose it was kind of like, I hadn't heard it at the time, but it ended up kind of sounding like Molly's Lips, you know, that song Nirvana covered.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's kind of similar to that. Strange kind of way.
Fucking hell. I wish I could remember the fucking first song. Right?
I'll play as it, but you'll fucking shit yourselves laughing. I swear to God, it's so bad.
The first 50 songs I wrote are probably awful. Still are. Getting away with it though. What about tour stories? Best and worst parts of touring. You must have. You've done more touring than both of us put together, probably.
Yeah.
I suppose the best part's getting to travel and play music. Like that's a no-brainer. You know?
Time, yeah.
Like, you know, and getting to meet new people and things like that. And like they kind of like they seem like the worst things at the time, whatever. But then when you look like the other parts, like bad things happen, or whatever, and just like, you know, not being able to like sleep or whatever because there's like, you know, 12 years crammed into a tiny little fucking van or whatever.
Yeah.
But you look back in those and kind of go, no, it was great. You know.
Yeah. And you get a story. You always get a story.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes you stronger as a unit, like.
Yeah, it's because like there's so many bad parts of it, whatever. Like, you know, you don't eat, fucking you smell bad, and fucking, you know, like you start to miss home sometimes or whatever. Like, or having arguments and things like with your like people who are your brothers, like essentially, you know, or sisters, like. And but it's I think it's just the best part of touring, is touring.
Yeah,
you know.
That's the whole package, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
I always think every time I come back from a tour, even if it's a shaky one, like it hasn't been as good as all the previous efforts, like you always meet amazing people. You know, restores your faith in humanity a little bit. Like, you know, it's easy to get down looking at the state of affairs these days, but you go away on the road and you find people, not just related to music, but just, you know, everything. You find good people everywhere doing the same thing as you, struggling, playing away in a room, nobody's fucking listening, but they know curves are doing it anyway.
Exactly,
you know?
like it's because everyone like when you meet other bands and things like, and they may not be the sort of people you would imagine like ever like hanging out with and stuff, but since you're going through the same experiences, like you just end up with kinship together, like it's really cool.
Yeah.
So, what about yourselves? Like kind of like kind of. Would you have a worst part, or would you be just kind of saying?
I've had a few low points.
I've had a really bad experience. We were driving from Vienna to Berlin, and obviously the Czech Republic is like bang in the middle of that drive. And we got to the Czech border, and they just pulled our van over. And these policemen were laughing. They were laughing at us. They took us all out of the van and raised the van up, got underneath it, started hitting things with hammers, and you could see the lumps of metal, like rust, falling away. And they just said, basically, you're not going anywhere. They took our van off us. So we're stood, like in the no man's land between borders, like sat with all our equipment, just like sat around us. All these like kind of cars that have been abandoned. Like there was like, I think there was a beehive in one of them. That's how long some of these cars have been there. And we just had
loads of bands, like I saw like hundreds of bands and we're going,
it's like close to like kind of shanty town.
Loads of cops shifting through all this gear, you know, setting it up, put it on eBay.
It was one of the most scary moments of my life.
I remember being broke down, like it's like first European tour we did with Still Watching. I remember like being, it was us and Maybe She Will, and the van broke down, and we were waiting for like 12 hours at the side of an autobahn, and it was a mile back to the nearest service station. Like, and the service station was just, you know, amenities. It wasn't a place that could work on the van, but we were there for like and you can't stay in the van. Obviously, it's on the side of the autobahn. You have to get out of it. But it was just pissing down with rain, like just like real biblical end of the world shit was coming down, and fucking. But I remember this real sense of camaraderie. Just to give it, it's like everyone was cracking jokes about it, and like half of us would walk back to the petrol station, like, and chill for a while, get warmed up, buy a couple of beers, and bring beers. Just the glory of Europe, being able to buy beers in petrol stations. what a great idea! but yeah, then bringing them back for the other people, like, and then they would drink them and walking up and just kind of switching. And then we got like the van was taking us Mercedes guards, and like they stiffed us for so much money, but we had to pay it to get on. And luckily, one of the guys, maybe she will, like, had a decent job, so he had a bit more money in his bank account, and he had to front it, and we just had to pay him back if we went on along the tour.
Yeah.
Fucking nuts.
How have you like found the transition between being in a band and then just being you, just on your own? Like obviously, I guess the logistics are a lot easier to kind of organise.
Well, on one hand it's easier to organise, on the other hand it's not, because like with the band, since there's like a lot of you like kind of gunning towards the same like destination, or like the same goal and things, you're kind of there. But sometimes like I find it hard, especially since it was such I keep using the word traumatic, but since it was such like a big experience, like leaving like the band to go and do something so different, and it was hard to get focus. When I was doing the album, I was just recording the VerseChorusVerse album. It's the first time I've recorded an album by myself, you know what I mean? Like, and like there's other musicians on the album and stuff, but it's the first time I was in London, so I wasn't in a familiar place, so it wasn't like loads of friends around or anything. So I was going to the studio in there for like 10 or 12 hours a day, and then going back to this flat I was staying in where it was just me. And but then going back and kind of listen to the mixes I'd done, like this is the work we'd done that day. And previous incarnations of being in the studio, it would have been, like sitting around listening to that, like with all this and talking about things. But this time it was like kind of just by myself and just listening to it kind of quietly. And I'd listen to it like once or twice, and then quite often just lie back on the sofa and really think about, the things. And that silence kind of gives you a lot of ideas and things as well.
So it focus you in a lot more.
Yeah, so they're both real different beasts. Like I don't say one's better than the other. You know what I mean? Like, but they're both very different. Like beasts, and it's cool just as a human being, like just exploring. Because I swear I'm actually a human being. Do you ever consider going solo, man? Since you've done so many things like yourself, man. Like, have you ever thought branching out, going that way? Like,
I don't think I could do it.
I don't want to be responsible for breaking up empty lungs right here. Just go, so what do you think? I heard he was talking shit about you.
No, that's it. I've had enough. 2 gigs is too much. No, I don't think I could do it. The way I really vibe off writing songs is I have to have another person to interact with and bounce off. Very rarely have I sat down and wrote a whole song from start to finish on my own and then presented that as a package, if you will. I need to have that other person to bounce off. So personally, I couldn't ever see myself doing it. But like you said, never say never. I mean, like obviously once Empty Lungs are huge and famous, there might be a bit of room for a bit of solo stuff.
This guy.
I do a Paul McCartney, like.
He did all right,
I think I heard of him.
He was in that band Wings,
Only the band the Beatles could have been.
That was that James Bond theme tune, yeah, right? Yeah.
Amazing tune. So, would you ever consider the solo route?
Solo, I've done about. I did a gig last week just by myself acoustically. I've done about maybe. I don't even know.
It's cool, like, is that exposing yourself kind of thing?
Yeah,
not
it's
literally.
Scary as fuck, man. Like, I have the utmost respect for people who do it, because I think last week was maybe my 9th, 10th time doing it, in the space of probably 3 years.
Yeah.
And that was one of the only times I actually felt sort of secure and comfortable doing it, because it scares the shit out of you. You've got nothing to hide behind. It's just you. Every little mistake you make, it's there, people hear it. And when people actually listen, it's one thing playing in a bustling room and nobody's really listening, but if you sit in front of a crowd and you understand people, they're actually just hanging, like, listening to everything you're saying. It feels a lot more powerful sometimes than that.
Yeah.
In some respects, it feels even more powerful than a big, huge, noisy live show, because it's just intimacy can be powerful as well.
Yeah, because there's obviously heaviness is kind of associated with loudness.
Yeah.
But sometimes some of the heaviest gigs I've been to have been the quietest gigs. Like just like where it's been like just this real atmosphere created. Like,
I think it's a lot easier to convey like an emotion through a song when it's just like stripped down to like the basics.
I guess
people get that.
I could see myself doing it in a couple of years properly. Maybe I don't really know. I really love the idea of just taking off by yourself with a guitar, not having a tour booked or anything. Just going.
I think every guitarist has that kind of like Woody Guthrie gene.
It's the troubadour thing.
Like,
yeah,
you just like kind of just want to like pop like hijack a train, but just jump on a train on the back of it, see where it takes you.
Don't get into hijacking, you'll be offending people. I just that idea is something that definitely every guitar songwriter. So
Have you ever wished you got a real job?
I've had a real job.
I've had several.
I've been quite lucky.
real jobs.
I've really enjoyed all the kind of 9 to 5s I've had. So it's just been in a lucky position, I guess.
I've had a lot of crappy jobs that you sort of have to do to sort of pay for the music side of things until you're playing so much that you can't even hold down a job.
Yeah.
But as a career, I never ever want an actual career outside of music at all, ever. I just think I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
Whether it was playing or doing like touring crew work or even if eventually turning into maybe getting interested in management or I don't know, something more promotion, something like that. But a career outside of music just seems like a nightmare.
Seems terrifying.
Terrifying. It's the real world.
Whoa! Like I have to be somewhere at a specific time. Whoa!
I think I could get on with it if I had to do it, but out of choice, no way. No, just music forever.
Yeah, man, pretty much the exact same. Like, had a handful of jobs. Like, last proper job I had probably would have been like 2007, whatever. And like, it was like made a real conscious decision just to be like, no, like it's not what I dreamed of doing. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to play music. So it's just kind of it was like got to like mid-20s and was just like, no, I'm gonna do this, I gotta do this. And just it's like a real kind of like lifestyle decision. Just
What's more important and what's more powerful, lyrics or music? Or are they just equally as powerful?
Yeah, I think they go hand in, they can go hand in hand, right? Like I kind of think like a good riff and a good like rhythm and a good melody can really like change how you're feeling at that specific time, can really like alter your your senses at that time, and just like really can turn you from being in a bad mood into a great mood, into just like fuck it, forget about it kind of mood, just enjoy yourself and for the moment. I think like a great riff coupled with a great lyric and things like that has the potential. That can change your life. Like that can like
that's where the magic happens.
Like sometimes just that's the alchemy. Like just like we mix it up, but like that's not to take anything away from either. Like from just like musicians just playing instruments or poets or whatever. Like just like wordsmiths. I think they're equally both as important. Just in my own personal kind of thing, I think I've always been quite a literal person, and I've just always kind of liked that. I've always enjoyed reading and things, and theatre and things like that, and poetry, and so I think that stuff always really kind of appealed to me. And it's what do you think yourself?
I agree. I think you answered that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's a. Not to say you can't have one without the other, because poetry by itself, words by themselves are amazing. Poetry and any kind of writing and music, just instrumental music or whatever you want to call it, notes, melodies by themselves are incredible. I think hand in hand is the good shit. Is the magic.
We get on great.
Batter.
What do you think? As you may know, I just put out like an EP for charity. It's like six of my favorite like punk and like alternative songs, and kind of like turn them around into like these more kind of folky kind of numbers or whatever. Well, people say folk just because it's acoustic, but you know what I mean. What sort of songs would you guys cover if you were going to like take like some of your favorite like kind of punk alternative songs, flip them around and
Well, we were discussing this before.
Yeah, we were talking about that one. Like, we were talking about that with a few people.
Indeed.
It's almost as if
This was planned.
this was
like,
planned.
you know?
We didn't just turn up here for pints and then some boy turned up with a camera and a couple of mics.
Amazing high quality security camera.
Found these,
They were just lying on the ground, man. There's some interesting stuff on here.
What's this?
they got the names right and everything. You know?
I don't know. I pick some bands. I'll pick some bands.
But I mean, you covered Bank Robber, right?
Yeah.
So like the Clash, it'd have to be. Like, you know,
Clash is definitely
greatest band in the world.
Number one.
So.
Yeah, there's there's so much scope there as well because all the songs work, like they're so simple as well, like and the lyrics were so strong, so like they just lend themselves to it, like. And Joe Strummer used to call himself Woody, so like.
It's, so I think the Clash that's definitely the one, isn't it?
Yeah, Clash is definitely number one. I'd say punk-wise.
I was actually gonna do it. You ever hear Naked Ray Gun?
No,
I was gonna do a Naked Ray Gun song on it, but I just couldn't nail it. I was gonna do Rat Patrol. Like I couldn't nail it. Maybe another time, you know.
You did Fugazi. I would love to do like Minor Threat as well. Like,
Yeah.
I love Fugazi as well, but Minor Threat was one of the first hardcore bands I got into. You know, they had some sort of like just raw, angry music.
Were you more in the Minor Threat camp than the Black Flag camp?
One up. Yeah, big time.
I was definitely a
It's the
Minor
hardcore
Threat
equivalent of the Stones, the Beatles.
Yeah,
or whatever,
big time. I love Flag as well, but
Yeah.
I can listen to Minor Threat discography. I love every song. Black Flag is like 30% of it. I think it's awesome, and the rest sometimes doesn't grab me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Minor Threat would be on there, and then some newer stuff. Hot Water Music would be a huge one for us. Chuck Reagan's solo stuff's incredible.
Yeah.
It's folk sort of country stuff. Hot Water.
I think for me, I don't know, take it how you will, but Rancid, like they're a band that I got into when I was so young, and I was so much love for those albums that I grew up with.
What about politics in music then? And maybe like is it important for people to make political statements? Like we come from punk, and both of us kind of come from a punk and folk background, and they're two genres, two types of music, so they're doused in politics and protest politics.
Yeah, I think probably like most contemporary kind of music, like especially the worlds we inhabit, like the alternative kind of like the punk or whatever, like that kind of role, that it kind of lends itself to it, even if bands don't mean to. Like a band like Nirvana wouldn't have been political, but still the songs still had that tint to it, because like he would have been a big like women's rights champion and gay rights champion and stuff like that. And so that would take that kind of tilt. But I don't think it's completely necessary. You know what I mean? Like I know what I do. Like the songs I write, but not every song I write's like that. You know? Like some of them will be, as I say, about like like witnessing two drunk guys having an argument in a fucking coffee shop or something. But I don't think it's like they have to go hand in hand. Like music and politics lived separately for a long time, but with folk music and with punk music, the thing that they really share was that they were expressing people's feelings about just going, this isn't good enough, our lot isn't good enough, we deserve better, and trying to strive to make it better for yourself, like whether it be through the music or through like whatever work you're doing, it's a strange one. Like it's kind of,
I think music's storytelling about life, and politics is a huge part of life, because everything's politics, really. But I mean, as far as
music's an art, and it's like art's supposed to be a reflection of the real world, like things like that. And unfortunately, politics comes in that. Politics fucking suck. But it's good to fucking like. I think now we're kind of in this time where because it does suck so bad, so many people just kind of forget about it, and that's how we end up in real shit.
That's exactly. People need to pay attention to what's going on. What's that phrase? If you're not paying attention, if you're not, I messed this up now. If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention.
Exactly.
What's it like? But
I think maybe there's like people that are like really mainstream, like kind of top 10 people, maybe have more of a duty, if you will, to bring more things to people's attention, whereas they tend not to.
And there's there's like a kind of there's a mentality, sorry, with it that like when some people do bring it to it, they tend to get ridiculed a lot in the media and things for it as well. Because
people are afraid of being cliched as well. I think, these days,
exactly, because like you do get like I know you can very quickly become a parody of yourself or whatever doing it, but their heart started in the right place, you know. Those things.
I think sometimes it's hard to swallow it when like a multi-millionaire's telling you these things, you know. You think, well, it's all right for them to kind of take.
Hey, Bruce,
this
Bruce,
is what
Bruce gets away with it.
Bruce can do it. He's the boss. Well, like Bruce and like Joe Strummer were big friends and stuff, like you know, like not so much friends, but big admirers of each other, you know. Like so I would say like Joe Strummer is almost the English Bruce.
Definitely.
You know? Bruce Springsteen, we can call him Bruce. I don't know him.
What's up, Bruce?
Come on, we're gather around and you're loaded.
We're just busy. Kev just said, well, why don't you come live in Belfast and play in the band? And it was a no-brainer pretty much, you know. And, he sent me over all the tracks and the demos and stuff, and I just sat in my room learning like furiously for 6 months. Just like pretty much every day. That's literally how much I've been into it.
Because I had no idea. Like I saw you guys at Glasgow Break, and it was just like I was like, oh, it's 4.
Is that allowed there?
Amazing.
I was kind of always a plan in the back of my head. It wasn't an intentional 3-piece. It was just started off as a 3-piece and wasn't really anybody sort of perfectly fitted the bill. As for another guitarist at the time when we started, and then Sam was the perfect dude. Like nearly exactly the same taste in music for what we're playing anyway. And I always want more guitars, more banter.
Exactly, and of course you couldn't turn down being in a band with this guy, you know.
Because it frees you up a lot as well, like musically as well. Just you can do a bit more things than the 2 guitar players.
It's a whole other ball game. Sounds like a rock and roll band. It sounds like as well. It's got the meat. It's got the beef there.
You've got to have the 2 guitars, haven't you? You know.
Big time.
Good stuff, guys.
I'll do it.
It's been a pleasure.
An absolute pleasure as well.
It's been great talking to you.
Give us a squeeze.
There we go.
Right, yeah, we get this bottle of whiskey out there now.
Aye, we'll get
I
it.
think so.
Let's do it. And that concludes your punk rock lesson for today.
Who's got the feet?